The Bruins lost to the Vancouver Canucks on Wednesday night, and we're going to be joined by a very special guest today on the podcast, 2011 Stanley Cup champion, Shawn Thornton. Let's get into it.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things spoke to be, as well as take a look around the NHL. Today is Thursday, December 9th, and this episode is brought to you by StatHero, the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in head-to-head fantasy matchups, winner take all. Sign up for free right now at stathero.com/hockey and use promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. I want to start by thanking you all for making Locked On Boston Bruins your first listen every day. The podcast is free and available on all platforms as well as YouTube, so please do subscribe, and each new episode will be automatically added to your feed and to the video channel for you to enjoy at your convenience. As I mentioned off the top, I'm very excited, a little nervous to have Shawn Thornton join the program today. I received a copy of his new book, Shawn Thornton, Fighting My Way to the Top, forward by Tuukka Rask, by the way. I read that over the weekend. It's a fantastic read for Bruins fans, for hockey fans, and I'm excited to dive a little into it and ask him a few questions about the book and about his time with the Boston Bruins. So you're not going to want to miss that for sure. Before we get to that, just want to talk quickly about last night's game against the Vancouver Canucks. And really, it's just a tale as old as time at this point. The Boston Bruins losing 2-1 to the Vancouver Canucks. It was their second game under new head coach Bruce Boudreau, 2-1 in a shootout. And I've said it after so many games this season, part of the problem was the Bruins were more than willing to pass against the Canucks instead of taking the shot. Joe Sacco, who once again filled in for Bruce Cassidy behind the bench as the head coach is out in COVID protocol, said we'd like to see the team play off the shot a little bit more at times. Some of that has to go to Vancouver's credit. They defended well, but a lack of shot-first mentality has hampered the Bruins for much of the season, certainly been a factor in their offensive struggles over the past 4 games where they've gone just 1-1-2. They've just been unable to score more than 2 goals in any of those contests. You have to stick with it, Sacco said. Frustration can settle in easily on a group. What they'd like to see from the group is to start shooting the puck a little bit more at certain times during the game. There's certain times where they pass up on shots. It's clear. We all see it. The eye test confirms this. The Bruins did outshoot the Canucks 36-32, but again, unable to get the puck past Thatcher Demko, who played very well. Bessie, get down. I've got this plant beside me that Bessie the cat is quite enamored with it right now and wants to dig into there. Usually good players will find a way to score. If they keep putting pucks on the net, their scoring will come, and hopefully that's the case for the Bruins. When the Bruins did generate chances, they were some decent ones. Oscar Steen rang a wrister off the post. Charlie McAvoy hit the post. Eric Howla had a breakaway goal that was wiped off after an offside challenge. Bergeron said he thought they had some pretty good looks. They weren't really taking shots early on, missed on too many opportunities to shoot, and every time they did that, there was a rebound, loose puck, sustained pressure when they were able to create that, just not able to take advantage of it. Bergeron did score the Bruins' lone goal of the evening on a 5-on-3 opportunity. He was wearing the fishbowl after breaking his nose against Nashville, said he hated it. First time in his career, peripheral vision affected, and it's tough to track the puck, with this big cage hanging around his face, and he's got to get used to it. He's going to have to wear it for a little bit here. Jeremy Swayman stopped 31 of 32 shots, but surrendered 2 goals on 3 attempts in the shootout. And looking back at it, he said he got a little too deep in the net, probably wanted to challenge the shooter a little more. But again, he has been playing pretty well lately, despite going 1-0-2 over his last 3 games. Brad Marchand back in the lineup after sitting a 3-game suspension for an incident against the Canucks last week. He played a lot, probably too much, said Sacco, 23 minutes of ice time. His game is fine, always hard, generating, and thought he was good, according to Joe Sacco. Now, the line of Taylor Hall, Charlie Coyle, Craig Smith did not produce a shot on goal through 40 minutes. So Holla was bumped up to the line for the third period. And that lack of anything from Taylor Hall was concerning. 14 minutes, 38 seconds, 0 shots on goal. Nick Foligno had no shots on goal as well. And Hall in particular, they really need to figure out where he fits in the lineup. He looked really good with Bergeron and Pasternak. They're reluctant to break up that top line and put Hall up there permanently, reluctant to move Pasternak down to the second line and keep Bergeron and Marchand together. So they're really going to need to figure out what they're going to do with Taylor Hall here moving forward. They really need to get him going. Anyways, that is it for today's recap. Not really much to talk about. It was kind of a boring game altogether. Honestly, I fell asleep after the second period, and hopefully they can get things going here tonight against the Edmonton Oilers. Now, before I get to my conversation with Shawn Thornton, a quick word about StatHero. StatHero is the place you want to be if you're playing daily fantasy sports. Obviously, nobody likes to lose. Winning feels so much better. Traditional fantasy sports are a long time losing proposition because you never know who or what you're up against. StatHero is the first of its kind daily fantasy sports platform where it's you versus the house in a head-to-head fantasy matchup. Winner takes all. And here's the crazy part. StatHero shows you their lineup before you play, and you handpick the team you want to face one-on-one. It's never been seen before, an innovation that puts your odds at over 4 times better than others. Why? You don't have to compete against thousands of experts or unknowns. They put you in control of your fate. You see their team, you pick your players, go head-to-head, winner takes all. Sign up for free right now at stathero.com/hockey and use promo code hockey for a 100% deposit match. That's stathero.com/hockey. Use promo code hockey for a 100% match at stathero.com/hockey. Let's talk for a moment about Stance. Founded in 2009, Stance Apparel represents a radical reinvention of socks, underwear, and active apparel. With a sharp focus on comfort, quality, and creativity, Stance brings an atypical aesthetic alongside some of pop culture's hottest collaborations for the ultimate in style and self-expression. Because everything you wear should be a direct extension of who you are and how you feel. They are so soft, so comfortable, and Stance believes that the perfect fit matters more than fitting in. Those who feel good, do good. Go see for yourself. Register for account at stance.com and get 15% off your first purchase. That's promo code LOCKEDON at checkout to apply. Enjoy the color, comfort of a life less ordinary with Stance. All right, I am very excited to welcome our next guest to the podcast. He's a 2-time Stanley Cup champion, currently holds a front office position with the Florida Panthers, remains a Boston Bruins fan favorite, and many Bruins fans have added his new book to their Christmas lists, and rightfully so because it's a fantastic read. So yeah, thanks for jumping on the podcast today, Shawn Thornton. How are you doing today?
Good. And how you doing?
I'm doing well.
Good.
I said on the podcast that I received your book last week and burned through it over the weekend. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, you must be really proud of it and excited for people to get reading it, I guess.
I'm glad you burned through it and didn't just burn it. That's a positive.
No way.
Yeah, no, it's been a process the last couple of years. They approached me in January, pre-pandemic, and said, "Would you like to write a story?" I said no a few times. To be completely honest, I don't really like being out there. I don't like putting myself out there. But I was convinced that my unique path to the NHL and winning a couple trophies might inspire someone who's been looked over a few times in their lives, or has been putting the work out in and just hasn't quite broken through yet, or whatever it might be. So I was like, well, now I'm a terrible guy if I don't do it, if you're telling me I'm taking away from doing that. So I agreed to do it. When Dale and I agreed that the thought process of the process was going to be, come down to Florida, hang out with my family, hang out with my friends, hang out with my coworkers, and same thing in Boston, same thing up in Toronto, same thing, and then the pandemic hit. So it ended up being a 1.5 year long phone conversation between myself and Dale, and introducing him to some of my friends, counterparts, coworkers, bosses, previous coaches. So, as everyone had to adjust during the pandemic, we also had to in the process of writing this book. But with how it turned out, and if you didn't hate it, that's a positive.
No, yeah, I really loved it, and I love the fact that, like you said, there's a lot of contact there with friends and old teammates and coaches, with those quotes like spread out throughout the book, which is really cool to kind of complement what you're saying. It's funny that you said you're reluctant to share stories and stuff, because I was kind of blown away by how honest you were in some of these stories, and how detailed it was through junior, even like the rivalry there with Michel Therrien. That was pretty entertaining for sure, that people are going to get a kick out of that. And the average hockey fan doesn't really get those kind of behind the scenes looks at friction and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool. I was wondering, why did you feel it was important to kind of open with the Matt Cook story in the prologue? Why did you feel it was important to kind of address that right off the top?
To get your attention. No, you know what? We wrote these chapters and then tried to layer in what the timeline was going to be, how they were, and they were readjusted a bunch. Ultimately, Triumph and Dale really made the decision on what they thought was going to be the most impactful. For me, I just wanted to tell the stories. I'm not the best at designing how a book should lay out. I just wanted to be able to write it and do an okay job writing it. But to how you started with the truthfulness, when I agreed to do it, I said, we're going to tell the truth. Like, I don't want this to be a fluffy, it's all about me, how I viewed the world, and not have other people's opinions on it. And I think, the Brooks Orpik chapter, which is the stain of my career. And I wish I could take that back. I hate to even be remembered for that one mistake, but I also wanted Brooksy to have a say on his side of it too, and not just be my biased view on the event. So pretty straight shooter. Most people would agree with that, and I just wanted the book to reflect that as well.
Yeah, I really appreciated that Orpik was quoted in the book as well, to kind of give that different perspective and kind of his take on things. And that's certainly, people think about that, but I don't think, me reading it coming into the book, I was definitely more excited to read like stuff about the cup run and the better times. I wasn't, what's Shawn going to say about the Brooks Orpik situation, for sure. But it was great to get your take on it. I found the one note about how it was reported was really interesting, about having it kind of leaked by TSN, and your reaction to that. I thought that was really, really interesting for sure. And just to get his take on it as well. Brooks's take was really cool. You talk about, one of the more fun parts of the book is you talk about that penalty shot goal on Pavelec in Winnipeg. When I was thinking about your career coming into the book, the goal that stood out to me as my favorite was the one that you scored on Tim Thomas on the Florida Panthers.
I think that might have got me my next deal with the Florida Panthers. I think the Panthers ownership were at that game and were fooled by that goal, potentially.
I was watching it on YouTube yesterday. I was like, yeah, it must have been just amazing to score backhand shelf, but also, was there anything said to Tim Thomas after you beat him in that way?
I think I rubbed it in a little bit. I think he was stung a little bit that it was me scoring on him. But me and Timmy are friends, so it would have been a friendly ribbing, not anything else.
Yeah, that's hilarious. I wish could have been a fly on the wall when Thomas and Luongo were in the locker room in the Panthers together. That was just a wild to
I'm
picture.
not sure how long they would have crossed over here, because they traded for Lou and then they traded Timmy to Dallas. I don't know how much overlap.
Yeah, I don't think it was long. Yeah, but even just like even to have them cross paths even once must have been insane for sure. A big theme in the book is kind of the diminished role or the changing role of enforcers in the NHL. You don't see a lot of guys right now who are strictly in the NHL to fight. You talk a lot about how that was kind of your development track and how you were encouraged to play up on your strengths and other skills that you had to kind of make it to the NHL. I think back to, when Tuukka Rask, he was bumped by the Columbus Blue Jackets a couple of years ago. A lot of Bruins fans were saying, "Oh, I wish Thorty was still in the lineup to kind of take some ownership over that or to respond." Do you think that kind of code, the retribution, is still a thing, or is it enough now to just beat the other team on the scoreboard, let the NHL handle the discipline, or is there still a place in there for that kind of reaction in the moment to when a teammate is bumped or hit in the head, things like that?
It probably depends on the situation, depends on the moment, depends on what the infraction is. Listen, I think fighting will always be part of the game of hockey. Talk about it in the book. I mean, the arena is 200 by 85. There's no out of bounds. There's some big boys laying some pretty good body checks. I mean, we saw 2 this week. I think Trouba got 2 this week, and he had to respond immediately. Now it wasn't the tough guy grabbing him. It was Stills is a pretty tough kid, and so is McKinnon. But so that those things are always going to happen. Right. They have to level the playing field, I think, or else you get people out there headhunting. I talk about this too. I'm very okay with the one-dimensional, just standing out there to punch each other in the face. I'm okay with that role being gone. I mean, I worked extremely hard to play some productive minutes. Some years I was playing in between 8 and 12, some nights 14, and it would rattle me sometimes, even though one of my first few years of my career, that's what I did, but worked hard to get away from that. And it would rattle me when I'm planning on playing third line minutes on a fourth line, but I know that I might have to do that in the first shift just because it's what's expected of the role. I never felt like that was a healthy part of the game anyways. So I can go both ways on it. I think the game's in a better spot, but I do think there'll always be some sort of guys that can protect themselves to be there for their teammates and stick up for their teammates. Yeah, I agree. Like that kind of quote unquote staged fighting may be gone, but I don't think to get rid of, like, one of my favorite fights ever is like Jerome McGinley and Vincent LeCavalier fighting in the Stanley Cup final, right? Like 2 captains. It was just in the heat of the moment. It happens, and that's people love that. Don't see people sitting down when that happens. Let's put it
that way. Exactly. Yeah, totally. That's really interesting for sure. We will get back to our chat here with Shawn Thornton in a moment. But first, quick word about Get Primal. Maybe you're the guy who has never considered the benefits of treating your beard with product. Primal Origin Oils will stop the itch and make your beard look healthy and groomed. I'm the kind of person who grows it out for about a month, it gets itchy, and then I shave it all off. But with Primal Origin Oils, their products are designed to help maintain your beard, make it look and feel great. The The products are free from harmful synthetic ingredients and with low impact on our planet. Primal Origin Oils makes balms, oils, whipped butter that are renowned as the best feel and beard products available. They're all fair trade certified and handcrafted in the USA. We know that every company claims to have the best, but Primal Origin Oils challenges you to compare their ingredients and the feel and beard to the other products you've used. We promise you will see and feel the difference. Remember to use promo code LOCKEDON to get 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. That's promo code LOCKEDON for 20% off at primaloriginoils.com. Again, I have had the whipped butter in my possession for a bit, growing the beard out, been using it. It feels so good and smells great too. So do jump on and grab some of this amazing product. BetOnline has you covered for all your betting needs this season. More props, odds, and lines than ever before. And you can take advantage of college pro football, college and pro basketball, on top of hockey, boxing, UFC. You can head to their new updated desktop or mobile site to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit by using promo code LOCKEDON. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to bet on all your favorite sports. And again, just head to their new website, sign up for a free account, use promo code LOCKEDON, and get a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. BetOnline, where the game starts. Speaking of, your role in the team, you talk about in the book when you started. Brad Marchand was originally on the Merlot line, and then you guys kind of swapped. Just looking at his game now, for me, he's a Hart Trophy candidate this season, and he's been, I think, over the last 4 or 5 years, only McDavid and Draisaitl have produced more points than him. Did you see that potential in him early on, or
I did.
Do you think it's just a matter of the hard work he's put in to get to this point? Or
his hard work definitely helps. I mean, he's one of the hardest working guys on the ice I've ever seen, and off the ice. Mm-hmm. They have a great line there too. They have great chemistry. Him and Bergie have been playing together for a decade now, so it's almost telepathic on how they play the game. I don't think they have to talk out there. They know where each other's going to be at all times during repetition of practice games. He doesn't give up on pucks. He can shoot a puck I shouldn't say not like I've ever seen, but he's got one of the best shots, best releases in the league, accuracy. Smart, he plays hard, he can see the ice well. So I'm not surprised at all, actually. I was amazed when he played on our line. I was like, why is he on my line? This is way too good to be playing with us. And, we used to champion that he would be leading, be scoring 20 goals a year with us, and he wasn't even on the power play at that time. And come on, Claude, the kid's that good. Just get him on the power play. We're happy for him. But they used him more of that second line, whatever you want to call Bergie versus Kretsch's line at the time.
Right.
And he was really good on the penalty kill. So they used him in those minutes. He was scoring shorthanded goals. But then, once he got elevated to the power play, started playing the 20, 21, 22 minutes a night with Bergie, I wasn't surprised at all that he was going to put up those numbers.
Yeah. Yeah. And I guess that's just a testament to kind of how deep that roster was to begin with. And the fact that he could be down in the lineup and now he's, who he is, Team Canada contention. It's pretty wild to think back on that team. One story that I really loved in the book was how you kind of took the initiative to, kind of inspire the guys with getting some old photos up from some winning teams and things like that. I think about your current role with the Florida Panthers and how good that team is right now. There's so much potential there to, contend for the Stanley Cup this season. For a team kind of without that history of an original six club, is there anything similar that you can do to bring that into the atmosphere, into the locker room, to kind of inspire the guys, you bringing in your ring or something
if I was asked, but I'm so focused on the business side of things. Right. I very rarely am down around the hockey ops folks or in the dressing room. If Bill Zito said, hey, I think this would be cool, why don't you come talk? I'd be happy to do it, but I stay my focus is on content and revenue and community and foundation here, and I zero responsibility on the hockey ops side. So that probably will be created within the room with the leaders they have in there, with the leaders they have on the coaching staff and the development side. But yeah, no, we have a really good team this year. We're deep. The guys are playing really well. It's they're a fun team to watch too.
Yeah,
that's for
definitely. Sure. Yeah, for sure. A couple more questions for you before we wrap up. Some of the best parts of the book for me revolve around Tuukka Rask, your friendship. There's a whole chapter devoted to him. He wrote the foreword. You say in the book he'll probably be the greatest goalie to never win one, and that's assuming they can't get it done this year and that he is able to come back. Why do you think that he doesn't get the love that he deserves from Bruins fans? Or
I don't know. It makes zero sense in my head. Just knowing him as an individual, how great of a person he is, how much he gives back behind the scenes. That he was at all my foundation events. He's always there. He had his own foundation. He's giving back behind the scenes. He has the most wins in the history of the franchise. He's been to the Cup Finals 3 times. Once the backup, obviously, but twice as I would be hard pressed for anyone to say that the losses were all on him, right?
In my mind, he's the Conn Smythe winner in 2019 for without question if they win Game 7.
And in 2013, I mean, we had a couple guys on our team that were getting paid to score goals. I'm not pointing fingers or blaming people, but we had some injuries, and then we had some guys that literally didn't score a goal during the whole Stanley Cup final. You score 1 or 2, but maybe it's a different series. And it's mind-boggling to me. I think this year, I'm not taking anything away from the 2 guys that have a net this year, but I think people are starting to feel like, oh yeah, he is that good, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he's such an understated guy too. I don't think he lets it get to him, and then people probably pile on a little bit because he just is laid back and it's like, I'm just going to do my job. But he, it's mind blowing to me because if you had to shoot on him, or if you're around him for the last 12, 13 years, however long, 14 years, I think now, I remember skating in the lockout and guys on other teams you have to shoot on this guy every day. How do you have any confidence left? He just makes it look easy.
Yeah.
And that's probably part of it a little bit too, right? The game, he's such a naturally gifted guy. It doesn't look like he's working hard, but he is working hard, right? He's just so smooth. People are like, maybe if he gave this a little extra effort, but he is. He's that good. So I'm on the same page as you. I think he's the best goalie.
Yeah. I think even Marchand said that the other day when he joined practice as an emergency backup. It's just impossible to shoot against him, even in practice and even coming off of this surgery. So we'll see what happens. One other thing I wanted to ask you about, kind of just generally, I was interested to read about kind of your relationship with the DeBrusque family, dating back to your time in Norfolk and meeting Jake as a kid. Not to get too specific, but kind of when a trade request is made public like that, what are the ramifications in the locker room? Is it really as big of a deal as fans might think, or on a road trip like they're on right now, is it a huge distraction?
I've never actually been in a situation, I think,
really?
where one of my teammates publicly requested a trade that I can remember. Is that what happens? Has Jake requested one? I haven't been paying attention.
Yeah, it's I guess about 9 days. I mean, behind the scenes, it was made, I guess, in the summer, but it just came out kind of publicly 9 days ago that he's like a change of scenery, I guess.
Oh, well, every player's entitled to that. I think if he thinks the grass is greener on the other side. Listen, I know his mom and his dad really well. They're close friends of mine. They have been for years.
Yeah.
So I haven't talked to any of them about what his situation is there or how he's feeling. Sometimes it is good to get a fresh look in a different area. But listen, I love Boston. Obviously, I am a true black and gold. I loved it there.
Yeah.
But it's not the easiest market to play in either. If you're being completely honest, the fandom is amazing, but that goes both ways, right? You can't go for it. You don't score a goal and you go for a coffee. You're hearing about it. It's you can't hide. And that can wear on you after a number of years. I was never expected to score goals, so it wasn't that bad for me. But I remember going into coffee shops, what's wrong with the power play tonight? I'm like, I'm not on the power play. I don't know. That's not my forte.
Right.
And that's what makes that city great as well. But sometimes it can wear on you, especially if and I haven't looked at his stats or anything, but if you're not performing as high as you would like, that can weigh on your shoulders if you're a proud individual, which if he's anything like his old man, he's a proud individual.
Right. Yeah. Well, Shawn, I can't thank you enough for taking some time to chat this morning. I highly recommend everybody, especially Bruins fans, add the book to their Christmas list. There's a lot of good stuff there about your time with the Panthers as well, and the kind of stuff that you've been doing in the community, and with your foundation as well. Where can people find more information about your foundation, and how can people help out?
Yeah, the website's thorntonfoundation.org. You can make donations on the website if you want. I'm very fortunate that everyone on my board volunteers their time, so every dollar that comes in goes right back out to the various causes. Cool. I think you have the Twitter and the Instagram handle on here at Thornton FDN. We have a golf tournament in August every year. I have foundation runners for the marathon every year. And then we really just rely on people giving donations so we can help out with research projects for pediatric cancer, helping families out, and then Parkinson's disease as well, since I was affected by it with my grandmother. My late grandmother was really, she had it really bad for the last 14 years of her life. So, like I said, we try, and every dollar comes in, we try and put it right back out the door into the hands that need it. And I'm happy that I still have a platform that I'm able to give back and having some success with it.
For sure. Well, again, thanks so much for taking some time. Good luck down the stretch with the Panthers, and excited to see what the future holds for Shawn Thornton, for sure. Bruins fans always rooting for you. That's for sure.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. Take care. Happy holidays.
Thanks, buddy.
All right. Thank you so much to Shawn Thornton for jumping on the podcast today. So great to chat, and hope you enjoyed it. And I do highly recommend you grab his book, Fighting My Way to the Top, available anywhere that you can get books. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of Locked On Boston Bruins, talking about tonight's game against the Edmonton Oilers. Hopefully they can rebound and get back on track. That's it. Hope you enjoyed that chat. Go grab the book, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow.